YouTube family, welcome back to another episode of 2A in LA. Look, before we get started, as always, you know the disclaimer. Anything that I say in this episode, prior episodes, or future episodes is just my personal opinion. You should not take it as fact. You should not take it as law. Always do your own research and come up with your own conclusions. All right? So let's get this episode rolling. So look, the AK-47, the other rifle. So look, you guys know, only been doing the gun thing now a little over a year. When I started this journey, it was originally just for kind of to get a self-defense weapon, and then kind of got intrigued, and the more I learned, the more I wanted to explore, and I started buying weapons on a lot of different caliber platforms because I wanted to get familiar. I didn't want to just be straight 9mm in the beginning. I wanted to know what a 40 cal felt like, what a 45 felt like, what Magnum felt like, right? Same thing when I went to the long guns. I wanted to get a shotgun. I wanted to know what it was like to shoot a 12 gauge. I wanted to know what it was like to shoot an AR-15. And gradually, as I got more familiar, I wanted to learn about the AK-47 platform. And so if you guys saw my long gun collection video, you know I have an Arsenal SAM7 AK-47. So let me pull that out right now. Just for the record, it's already been checked. It is not loaded. There's no rounds in the gun. But you guys know, I told you guys that this quite possibly, I wouldn't swear to it in a court of law, but I would definitely give an expert opinion that this could possibly be the sexiest AK-47 in the history of the world. Quite possibly. You guys down in the comment section, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but you guys know I did my thing on this Arsenal. Okay, so let's talk about the AK-47 and specifically in relation to its little brother, the AR-15. And so in looking at the two different platforms, look, I know there are AR guys out there, and I know there are AK guys out there. This is like the argument over Chevy or Ford, or Ferrari or Lamborghini. My thought process on all those things is I don't want to sit around and argue which one is better. Can I get both? Can I have both? More is better to me. And so that's why I've got two AR-15s and an AK-47, because I didn't want to have to debate. I wanted to experience the best that both platforms have to offer. But there are some differences, right? Obviously, the AR-15 platform, you have a 223 or 5.56 NATO caliber round, which is a lighter, faster, a higher velocity bullet than the AK-47, which has 7.62 by 39. Now, that bullet is a bigger, thicker bullet, and so it's slower, but it also packs a bigger punch. When you got something heavier, oftentimes it hits harder, right? And so those are a primary difference between the two caliber. The AR-15 is very customizable, generally speaking. You know, it's got a lot of places where you can mount things on. The AK-47 historically has not had that. Usually you could maybe mount an optic on it, but in recent time, it too has become a little bit more modular. As you guys can see with mine, I changed out the traditional forward housing, right? And so now I've got a rail system. So I can mount things on top of the rail, as I've done with my optic. I've added a weapons light to it that also has a laser. You know, I could mount things on the other side if I wanted to. So again, the AK-47 I've got a hand stop at the bottom. So again, the AK-47, while not nearly as modular as the AR-15, you can get it to where you want it to be, right? You can get it to where you want it to be. So let's talk about other things. The AR-15, generally speaking, is a little lighter weapon, a little lighter than the AK. Now, here's the thing about that. Because the AR-15 is so modular, right? People load lots of, and I'm guilty of this as well. We load a lot of stuff on it. You know, we've got optics, we've got magnifiers, we've got weapon lights, we've got nods, we got on and on and on, right? And so by the time you pile all this stuff on it, I don't know if it's any lighter than the AK-47 is, but certainly in its natural state, it's a little bit lighter gun. If you're hiking on a trek, it's a little easier probably to carry or shoulder from that perspective. So a little bit lighter. AK-47, in my opinion, a little bit more reliable weapon out of the box. Not that AR-15s aren't reliable. They've come a long way. When that platform first came out, it was derived from the AR-10, which had 308, and then they developed the AR-15 and 223 and 556, right? In the beginning, they had a lot of reliability issues, but it's been around for a long time now. Those things have been worked out. It's a very reliable gun. Still not as reliable, though, as the AK platform. The AK is a very simplistic gun. You know, it only has a few parts, a few moving parts, and you open it up. There's a ton of space in the housing, so it's easy to clean. It's easy to take care of. It's all in all, it's a more reliable gun because it's a more simplistic gun. Okay? And so I would say that about the AK-47. And so in general, those are the kind of the differences between the two rifles. The AR-15 has a faster bullet. The AK-47 has a bullet with a little more stopping power to it. The AR-15 is a little lighter. The AK-47 is a little heavier, but a little easier to maintain, a little more reliable. I would also give the AR-15 a slight edge in accuracy, but I'll say this. Most of the time, both guns are going to outperform the shooter. And so accuracy really is in the person who's behind the gun most of the time. That said, you'll have if you can shoot, you know, you'll have no problem with an AK-47 hitting targets 200, 300 yards away. So I think both guns are accurate. The AR-15 is probably slightly more accurate. The AR-15 is more modular, easier to accessorize, but the AK-47 is kind of coming along relative to that. And so, you know, look, I love both gun platforms. I feel like the AR-15 is more popular nationally, AK-47 maybe so more internationally. But I think you can't go wrong with either platform. I'd say get one of both. If you have an opportunity, definitely, and you can only afford one, you know, try to shoot both of them before you buy to feel, you know, I'd say there's a difference, you know, there is a difference in the feel of the rifles. And you'll know, you know, after a couple of mags, which one you have a preference for. For me, I really don't have a preference. They're just different. You know, I think both are enjoyable to shoot. And so I think you can't go wrong either way. So again, the AK-47, and this is 2A NLA's AK-47. Like I said, I think it could be the sexiest AK-47 in the history of the world. And, you know, I've added the rubber butt pad on mine. Obviously, I've Cerakoted the grip and the mag. I've Cerakoted, changed out the forward housing and Cerakoted it. Added a muzzle brake on it that's also Cerakoted. It's got the Holosun 503C optic on it. Look, you know how your boy does it. So that is my Arsenal SAM7, AK-47. Love it, love it, love it. You should definitely go out and try to shoot an AK-47 if you get the opportunity. All right. If you've got questions, you want to talk a little bit more about the difference between the AR-15 and the AK-47, which platform do you think is better? Let me know down in the comments. As always, I ask you to please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Help your boy out. We're trying to grow the channel. I always try to give you great content, and I always try to respond to any questions or comments that you have. I want us to feel like we are a community here, a growing community here. And hey, look forward to seeing you next video. All right? Peace.